Well, let's see. This is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and let me just pull this right over here. And we are back to our Rashash again. And today is the 8th day of Chanukah, year 5782. We're going to make a review of the Rashash here, the little ones that we've learned, and maybe add something new. And let's just go over what he said. Now, you'll notice that there's a Rashash on the word Lahadlik Ner Chanukah. And he goes into the concept of the Ner, and he goes into all different kinds of things, but he doesn't mention that we have not mentioned, doesn't say that he doesn't. We haven't mentioned the bracha itself. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Chanukah. We start our understanding with lahadlik ner Chanukah, because it's easier for us to see. So let me take you over here on this page. You see it's page Po. And we're looking at the word Lahadlik Ner Chanukah. And the Rav explained to us that we're taking the first letters of this name and we're making them into the word Nachal, because they make that. Nachal is like a river or a stream. I said you like the babbling or the bubbling brook. So he says this is by taking the first letters of these names, we create, or we are actually symbolized by these lights. These are called Oros Makifim. Now is not the place to start analyzing lights, but we will try to do that and show this to you, what real Kabbalah, the Kabbalists, are working on. Now here's another view of the word Nachal. Now let's say we've created this word Nachal by creating in our minds this allusion to the first letters of this last part of this bracha. And now we look at the word Nahal itself. And let's read the words he says at the top in review. He says, Yekavin lachamshik me'ima, that is from Bina coming into Zeranpin. Ribua of Akia. Akia represents the Penimius, the Oros of Ima. That is a Bina. Toch Ma, it goes inside of Ma. Ma is another word for Zeranpin, because Zeranpin is the Adam. Adam is 45, Gematria. This is what it looks like. He starts out by Yud K. This is the way we would spell Ma, Yud K. And then, when the Vav starts, he puts in that Revua of Akia. This is a Revua, Aleph, Aleph K, Yud, Aleph K, Yud K. Then finishes off with the Vav. And then finally the K Aleph of Ma. And that also spells the word Nachal. So this is different flows of light that are coming the same way. I'm just saying it. I can't say why or exactly how this means, but you see that it symbolizes of Mochin coming from Ima and going into Zeranpin. Then he says, Zeranpin, this flow goes to the Nukah Zeranpin. Sheba, that is inside of her, she is Ben. That is, this is Ben. So this whole thing, these first letters, all of that flowing into Ben, which is Malchus, which is the lower world. So he says, then there's something else. Now, once you get to Zeranpin, you go through this process, you go to the Nook, Sheba Ben, that she has the name Ben, and then he says that these are also part of the Mochin, the light system that's coming to her. So you take these here. This is the Pasha, this is Ben. This is the Pasha of Ben, Yud K Vav K. This is what the Milui of Ben looks like, Yud Vav Dalet K K Vav Vav K K. That's what that looks like. Then we're going to do the Milui of these letters. So the Yud itself is Yud Vav Dalet, Vav Aleph Vav, Dalet Lamed Tav. And then you go through them, each one is just showing you what the Milui of the Milui is. Vav Vav KK. That's how that also, if you add 52 and you add these 36 letters, they come to the gematria of Nahal. So that's a little thing that he showed us just to be aware of this. Then he says like this. The next part of it is Asher Kiddushanu de Lahadlik ner Chanukah. So we're going to look at the Hadlik, we'll look at the word ner, we'll look at the word Chanukah. Let's see the Hadlik. This is with the gematria of Hadlik. Ima kolel, if you conclude its root, gematria av sagma. So this is av, right? We've seen it before. It's a milu called the milui of Yudin. This is sag. This is called the milui of Yudin, but an aleph in the vav alavav. And then this is ma, which is called the milui of alafim. And all of this lahadlik, this kindling that we have here, once again, is going to the nook. Remember the rule in Chanukah is that the nook, that is Malchus, that is the lower world, receives directly from the highest dimension in relationship to Zer Anpin and Malchus, which is called Bina. Let me just turn this sideways a little bit. Oh, it keeps going backwards. Okay, go. So now we come over here and we want to see the word ner, lahadlik ner. Now this is a little harder one, or excuse me, not harder, excuse me, the one on the other side of the page, a little harder one. These gematrias is Ekya Havaya, Havaya Elokim, and Havaya Adnas. This gematrias, if you add them up, take your time, you can add them up, they come out to be 250, which is the gematria of Ner, which is Nun and Resh. Now he also brought us a little piece, and I just want to show you this is an additional kavanah. And this is a kavanah where you take, the one over this kavanah, and you do the milui of the milui. The milui of the shiluf. And this is what it looks like. You could take some time and you could see how it is. He has Yud, Aleph, Yud, and then he starts mixing all the miluyim of this in together. Now here's a little different pattern. It just needs to be looked at. See if you can analyze the pattern. This is a different one for the Havaya Adni. Okay? Now we come over here on the top. Lahadlik Ner Chanukah. Birchas Lahadlik Ner Chanukah. He said, Yekavin Lachamshek Me'ima. So this is the concept. To the Nook of Zer Anpin, which would be the Zion Tachtoinos of Ima. That is from her Chesed down through her Malchus going into Zer Anpin. And he said, Yekavin Lachamshek Me'ima L'Nook. So he says, excuse me, my mistake. Into the Nook of Zer Anpin. And what is it flowing down? It's flowing out this name, which is Sag. Right? 63. It's a gematria 63. Count it up. Yud Vav Dal is 20, 15, 13, and 15. Comes to 63. And then you add on to this the name of Yud K, Vav K, and a Pashat. If you put them together, it makes the word Chanukah. Okay, one more, a little bit more. So let's go back to the end. As much as we came to as this review. And it says Sha'asa. You remember this is the same concept again. All we're doing here is we're bringing the greatest lights that we possibly can into the Nukva of Zer Anpin. Nukva Zer Anpin is recognized as being a bastion of dinim, of pain. So therefore we're taking the Shin Ayin, which one of the Drashim that he said was you take the Shin Ayin. It's a gematria of 370. It's actually composed of the name Kale in a milui form, which is referring to the cheeks of Eric Anpin, which is the great, great white benefit of bracha. So he says Sha'asa, that's the number 370. Yekavin l'shnei Kale haramazin b'Chanukah, which represent Chanukah. How? Echa b'shlosha Yudin ve'elef the Sag. So let's look over here at the Sag. He has 1, 2, 3 Yudin in it. There's the 3 Yudin. And there also is an Aleph. It comes to gematria of 31. You pair that also with the name Yud K Vav K. And the Shabosh Shlosha Yudin v'Aleph, as we said before, being Daled Osias v'Hakolo, gematria Kale, so each time we have Kale. So if you took this one, Yud K Vav K, and you took the 4 letters themselves, so Yud K Vav K is 26, plus the 4 letters makes it 30, and plus the Kolel, which is its root, it becomes Kale. That's 31 again. These are different ways you get Kale. Here's the Milui of Kale, Aleph, Lamed Fe, Lamed Mem Dal is a gematria of 185, and then there's another one, refers to the 2 sides of the face of Eric Anpin. So, Lamatek, and why are we doing this? What are we doing this for? is a matek, the name Elokim, which is a strict name of din, punishment. So he says to mark the Elokim of Yudin. You can spell Elokim, spell it out in a milui, and you could use in the middle letter, which is a hey, you can spell it hey yud, gives you the gematria of 300. Then you add the chamisha osios of the shor show, and you add the 5 letters of its root. It comes to the mispar of shin hey, which is 305. That's the name sha'asa. This is another concept of pouring this shin ayin, which is the 370 glow of light for the face of Eric Anpin, into dinim in order to try to sweeten them. And this is the last one here. It says nisim, the word nisim, sha'asa nisim. It's a gematria of havaya, which is ma, that havaya of ma, and adni. Now, whenever you see this combination, ma is male. Adni, it means malchus, is female. So once again, we see is the concept of making this yichud. That's about all the time I have for today. There is a little bit more there, but it's kind of self-explanatory. You can take a look at it. This is Baruch Fleischman of the Tikkun Elevator Kollel.